Hello everyone in cyber world, welcome back to another video. I'm Richard.
And I'm Jennifer, and this is our channel we call Poor Man's DIY. This week's project, we've made this and added it to our workbench.
Before we get started, as always, if you like this video, be sure to hit that like button and leave us a comment. It helps our channel to grow. And if you haven't subscribed yet, take a second and hit that subscribe button as well. Now for this plan, I have struggled with this. It was just an idea that I had. I needed something in the work area, and I figured, well, how am I going to do this? I actually tried drawing out plans several times, and each time I found a flaw with it. I started all over with a different idea. I tried and tried again, and I wasn't able to actually draw up a plan. So now I'm going to kind of wing it, but I have an idea. So one of the things that we're going to be doing on this this whiteboard is we need to be able to extend it up high enough so that I can write on it. Now, I happen to have a whole bunch of spare drawer pulls, but these drawer pulls are only 19 or 20 inch long, and if that's the case, that means when you pull it up, the whiteboard would only be this high, and sure, you could write on it, but I would like something that's a little bit higher if at all possible. So how am I going to do that? Well, I came across some things that I was looking at, and I started looking into TV lifts in bookcases where the TV comes up on its own. A lot of those use linear lifts, but I'm going to actually try and do it with a drawer pull. And what I'm going to do is see if I can connect these together and have them pull out into a very long one. And then we'll figure out how we're going to install that onto the workbench. Let's give this a try. I'm sure welding would work much better, but I have to use what I have, so I'm using small nuts and bolts to hold the pieces together. Even though the bolts are small, they're still a little bit long for this, so I had to cut them down with the Dremel. That should work. Although it's not necessary, I could have installed the drawer pulls and the whiteboard as is. I decided to try and minimize the sawdust that would get on the whiteboard and the drawer slides themselves. And since I had a bunch of 1/4 inch plywood left over from a previous project, I figured I would use it as backing.
ほう、向かってくるのか。逃げずにこのディオに近づいてくるのか。近づかなきゃてめえをぶちのめせないんでな。ほうほう。では十分近づくがよい。ダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブダブ。
I made the frames for the pegboard and the whiteboard using pocket holes, as I always do. And the next step was to install the drawer slides.
Interrupting this project, Mr. Poorman tried to install struts, but it was a total disaster. They destroyed everything, they destroyed the framing, and now he's in the garage crying. But that's okay, he's gonna rebuild, and now let's get back to the build.
Even though I installed a whiteboard and a pegboard, I wanted to make sure that my workbench is still flat so that I could work on projects. This left me with a little dilemma on how I was going to pull the boards up when I needed to use them. So I obtained and installed hidden flip-out door pulls. And if you're interested in these, I'll leave an affiliate link in the description below. After crying and a whole bunch of foul language, I pretty much had to rebuild everything from scratch. And since I wasn't able to use struts, I came up with a simple method of holding the boards up. I hope to replace it with something more efficient someday, but for now this will work just fine. And now for the finishing touches. Well, to be honest with you, I'm actually pretty happy with this. Although we had some issues with it in the middle and I ended up having to build it a second time, it comes in real handy. Oftentimes I end up having to measure something, I forget the measurement, I'll write it down on the wood that I'm cutting, or I'll try and find a piece of paper and there's never one around when you need it. So I really needed a whiteboard or a chalkboard, something along those lines, and this works out great. Also, now have a little bit of extra storage for these knick-knack things that you don't use all the time, but at least it's handy.
So that was it for today. Until we meet again, bye-bye.